At a time where technology is not just evolving, but transforming almost every aspect of our lives, reshaping how industries and economies operate. Now, that forms the bulk of our discussion this afternoon, where we center our discussion on digital transformation. That comes in a bit later. This is Lunchtime News. I'm Doreen Arange Lensa Odingo. That is actually Anwangeshi, who is our sign language interpreter. And now I begin this live broadcast with the recent developments from Karen Hospital, where our very own Giverson Minor is currently on standby. And I understand that the Member of Parliament for Juja, that is George Kimbururi, is there. This just follows him being discovered at a coffee plantation in Nairobi here, in Kiambu actually, on Monday. Giverson, you've been on this beat. What more can you tell us?
Now we are coming to you live from Karen Hospital here in Karen, pardon me, where the Member of Parliament for Juja, one George Kimbururi, has been admitted for medical review or checkups, if you like. And this comes just a few hours after Kimbururi was allegedly found injured and dumped at Jacaranda Coffee Plantation in Ruiru, or rather in Juja, in Kiambu County. And of course, it's alleged that the Kimbururi was abducted yesterday after church in Ruiru, and of course by people who are still unknown. But people say a car was seen. Of course, they do not know who the people were, but they fled away with the Member of Parliament, George Kimbururi. And after that, early in the morning, Kimbururi was found dumped at the coffee plantation called Jacaranda Coffee Plantation in Kiambu County. And of course, according to people we've spoken to, they say it's the border operators who saw him, and they were able to identify him as the Member of Parliament. And of course, that is how Kimbururi managed to get help. They called an ambulance, and he was taken to one hospital in Ruiru County for stabilization. And that is whereby that particular hospital recommended that he be brought to quite a higher level of hospital, and he was brought here at Karen Hospital. People have spoken to, including nurses and doctors, say they already have run a number of scans just to make sure that they can identify if he's suffering any kind of injuries, and he's still laid at the ward. He's not spoken a word, but they are also members of Parliament, his allies, and of course members of Parliament who are allied to the opposition, including Nyandaro Member of Parliament, Senator Medhu is here. We've also been able to see the Kiambu Senator Wan Karungo Dangwe is also here, and of course other members of Parliament who are allied to the opposition side. But that is what we've been able to of course learn since this morning. And of course we're still waiting for his family or even a doctor to speak to us and tell us whether they've gotten the results, whether the Member of Parliament has been injured. But so far the side of the of course, we've been able to see a number of policemen here in uniform and others non-uniformed. They've not spoken to us. And of course, we are still waiting to get any official communication to see, or rather to establish the status, the medical status of the Member of Parliament for Juja. That is what we've been able to gather, to gather for now. But we keep it here until we have a very conclusive, detailed information about his health status, if he was injured, or whether maybe he was not injured, and maybe to hear a word or two from him when he wakes up to tell us what actually transpired, who were the people who abducted him, or rather they fled away with him after attending a church in Ruiru constituency, and how he was able maybe to get help even from those border operators that we've been told. So that is the information here, Doreen. We are keeping it here just to gather more information. Of course, keep it here, keep it KBC for our subsequent bulletin, of course, at 7 and of course at 9 p.m. My name is Giverson Minor. Back to you, Doreen.
Thank you very much for that. Our very own Giverson Minor, they are just giving us the recent reports in regards to this particular incident, where police are still investigating what really transpired on the said Sunday, where this alleged abduction actually happened. He's on this beat, and he'll be giving us comprehensive reports in our subsequent bulletins in how this matter would have developed. Back to studio, we continue to inform you. And teachers in arid and semi-arid land counties are threatening to go on strike if the government fails to fast-track the promotion of of over 25,000 educators. Unions representing the teachers have accused Parliament of interfering with the Teachers Service Commission's operations, warning of mass disruptions in schools across the region if their demands are not urgently met.
Promotion! Solidarity! Forever!
Tension is rising in Kenya's ASAL counties as teachers through Kuppet and NAT demand the immediate promotion of their 25,000 colleagues by the Teachers Service Commission, failure to which they will go on strike.
MPs have controlled the employment. Now they wanted to also control the promotions. We will not allow this, and we will not advocate for this. Whichever the means sisi kama union tutakata, we will tutaita walimu wetu na tuambie sasa hakuna kwenda class mpaka these teachers wakuwe promoted.
Naomba TSC iendelee na kupatia walimu promotion, barua za promotion kama vile ilikuwa imekusudia, kwa sababu promotion ni haki yetu. Promotion imepewa walimu ambao wanahitimu na ambao wanapaswa kupromotiwa.
The unrest stems from what unions call political interference as teachers view the Education Committee's 7-day ultimatum to the TSC for promotion criteria as a setback.
So ni kama we are going to lose even more teachers. Hakuna walimu watakubali kwenda kufanya kazi kwa hiyo area.
Wengine wako na miaka 50 na wengine wanaenda kuretire by June. Ikiwa hii parliamentary commission itafutilia promotion zao, wanataka hawa walimu waenda nyumbani bila promotion ama nini?
Teachers in ASAL regions say they work in tough, under-resourced conditions and that their patience is running out as they await promotions amid shrinking salaries.
Usiguze ASAL areas, kwa sababu ujui chenye kiko kwa ASAL areas. That's why we are advocating for more promotion so that ikue a relief to what has been deducted from the pay slips.
As the deadline nears, attention shifts to the TSC and Education Committee. Will the government act or will teachers take their fight to the streets? Mariambo reporting for the Lunchtime News.
And a section of stakeholders in the education sector in Lunga, Kwale County has raised concern on the poor performance of schools in the area, calling for concerted efforts to ensure there is improvement in the performance. Speaking after opening an administration block in Kikoneni High School, Lunga lawmaker Chiforomondo Mangali called on parents and teachers to work closely with other stakeholders to ensure schools in the area are complete favorably with others in the nation by ensuring many students secure positions in public universities. Constructions of the new administration block in Kikoneni has been facilitated by the companies operating in the region through Mrima Bwiti Community Development Agreement Committee at a cost of 13 million shillings.
Tunakubaliana na walimu na watoto wenyewe ya kwamba tuboreshe matokeo yetu. Kwa sababu haiwezekani jengo kama hili, chairman, tuliwekeza pesa ngapi hapa? Milioni 13. 13 million. Alafu ati sisi hapo tuwapalilia hii. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba wazazi tuwahimize wanafunzi wetu ya kwamba tunaboresha haya mazingira ya masomo kwa sababu tunataka wafanye vizuri.
Hizi ni administration block na hizi zingine ni classes. Hatujaweka mtambo ya unga hapa, so we are not expecting unga hapa, si ndio? Tuna expect excellent performance. Tumeelewana vizuri? Hiyo ndio tunatarajia kutoka wapi? Kutoka kwenu.
Cases of teenage pregnancies and abortions are on the rise in Likuyani, Kakamega County, raising concern among residents. The situation has forced many school-going girls to drop out of school, with some reportedly turning to unsafe methods to terminate pregnancies. Youth leaders in the Soy Likuyani area are expressing deep concern over the rising number of students resorting to family planning methods and, in some cases, abortions.
Rural parts of Kenya where we see girls dropping out of school because of teenage pregnancy.
Juu wengi wamekuwa wanalazimishwa, hizi mimba zikipatikana wanalazimishwa waende watoe hizo mimba. So uaviaji mimba uko juu. Maneno ya hii maneno ya kutumia family planning iko juu. Mtoto mdogo wa class 6 anapanga uzazi gani? Tuko na maafisa wa hawa wajamaa wa maafisa wa afya wachache na wengine wachache ambao wamefungua hizi duka za kuuza madawa. Wameamua, wameona mali kuna pesa za haraka ni kukuja kutoa watoto mimba. Na wanajua kama mtu umepatikana na mwanafunzi umempatia mimba, hizo ni pesa zitatoka za haraka.
Kuna kesi zile ambazo ziko kotini zinaendelea, wale ambao walijaribu kuwapatia watoto mimba, na bado tunafuatilia kuhakikisha kwamba mambo kama haya hayaendelei katika jamii yetu.
More than a year after the devastating Mai Mahiu Dam tragedy, which left hundreds displaced and in despair, 18 affected families have been resettled by well-wishers. The families were handed 2-bedroomed houses built through a partnership between Rotary International and the SCAN Foundation. Speaking during the handover ceremony, Job Okello, the Rotary Regional Coordinator in Nakuru, described the journey as long and challenging, citing numerous setbacks from government agencies. He, however, affirmed their continued commitment to mobilize more support to assist the remaining families still enduring harsh conditions.
As Rotary, we were able to raise funds to do 7 houses, so practically we're going to do 14. But later we realized that it was going to be unfair. We have 18 families, doing 14 would not be fair. We went back to SCAN and they generously agreed to cover the rest. So we are able to support 18 families.
This is a huge relief to what we have been going through, and we cannot hide our excitement. We are happy to have that.
The president had indicated that it's going to be surveyed to see whether they should come back here or this place is habitable. As you can see, it's not. But first and foremost, at least they have a roof over their head and they're equipped. So we are still hoping that the promise of buying them land is going to come through.
Section of leaders from the North Rift have endorsed Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs Ali Hassan Joho to succeed President William Ruto in 2032. Speaking during a fundraiser to support women groups in Tangul Bay, Tiati constituency, leaders led by Tiati Member of Parliament William Kamket stated that Joho is fit to take over the presidency once President Ruto's term expires in 2032. They urged the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, to begin preparations to form the next government. Kachaliba Member of Parliament Titus Lote praised Joho for building friendships across communities, including minority groups such as the Pokot, and affirmed their support for him come 2032.
Take charge and lead ODM into government from when you joined, moving forward 27, 32, baada ya Rais Ruto, wewe ujipange ndugu yangu.
Baada ya William Samoei Ruto kuondoka, sisi tutakusikia kwa sababu tumekuona wewe kwa vitendo na matendo yako. Sisi tutasimama na William Ruto mwaka 2027. Lakini mwaka 2032 tutakuja hapa hivi na mtoto wetu huyu. Hebu muangalie wewe mwenyewe, unamwonaje huyu? Hebu ni
All right, we now turn the crack to Parliament, where we have our very own reporters who are tracking what is ongoing with regards to matters, budget and finance bill, and this is in regards to the ongoing public participation which already kicked on, and I understand various members of the public are currently submitting their proposals. We head over to South Sea and just take a listen at what is happening there with regards to the submissions.
Okay, noted, Yeah. Thank you. So the next one is not in the bill, but it is just a proposal, and this is informed by the medium-term revenue strategy. So in the medium-term revenue strategy, there was a proposal to look at the income tax pay bands, and this is because even the government was just cognizant of the fact that the current bands are quite narrow. So we were hoping that this would be addressed in this current bill, but it seems like it hasn't yet been done. And so as we speak, individuals continue to be taxed up to 35%, as companies continue to enjoy 30% when it comes to the corporate income tax. When we just do a comparison to other countries, a good example is Ghana. So for Ghana, if you are earning 255,000 Kenya shillings and above, is when you actually get to be taxed at the 30% tax band. When we look at South Africa, the amount is approximately 237,000. So when you compare it to us here in Kenya, where with the moment you reach 32,000, then you are subjected to tax at 30%, that one is a bit narrow, and especially given that when we look at the income levels for a majority of the Kenyan population, I think when you see some of the articles, majority are below 100,000. So most of us are being subjected to tax at 30%, which of course shrinks our net pay, and so of course affects the spending power. Then I'll move to the next item, that is to do with pension contributions. So we are just proposing an increase. So first of all, we laud the government for its effort in finally looking at this area of the deductible pension contribution amounts. I think since 2006, thereabout, the amount has been at 20,000, which translates to 240,000 as the amount deductible against income for individuals. We see in the Tax Laws Amendment Act, which was passed in December, the amount having been increased to 360,000, that is 30,000 per month. Now, we still feel that there is room for the amount to actually be pushed further up to 480,000. And this is because we want, and we believe it aligns to the government's agenda, just to ensure that the senior citizens, that is once your energy levels have gone down and your earning power as well has gone down, then you have something substantial to actually sustain you during that period of retirement. And also, of course, just to...
Currently underway, there's just various stakeholders giving their proposals and submissions to the Finance and Planning Committee, and this is in regards to the Finance Bill 2025, which already those public participation already kicked off. And you can remember also the Budget Committee did say that they're not going to make any additional allocations in regards to that particular matter. We are tracking this for you. Our reporter Kamcha Menza is on this bit, and she'll be giving us a detailed report of how these proposals went down on this particular day, and also we'll be having this particular discussion tomorrow to just unpack for you this Finance Bill 2025 and what this portends for you and I as a Kenyan. And now the Machakos County Assembly is set to resume sittings after a 6-week closure triggered by chaos between two rival factions. Two MCAs were injured during the altercation last month. The dispute centered around the attempted impeachment of Speaker Ann Kituskiusia. The minority leader in the Assembly, Francis Kaviu, has maintained that the county government's leadership is interfering with the operations of the Assembly and that the Assembly has been denied an adequate budget to run its affairs. On his part, Majority Leader Nicholas Nzioka claims that the Speaker has blocked the release of funds meant for the development of the Assembly and their respective wards.
I am urging members of the County Assembly of Machakos, since we have made requests, the various chairmen of the committee, including me, I'm the chairman of the selection committee, we have made our request to the clerk, and I know the clerk is going to facilitate us. Tomorrow is a committee day. All of us should meet in the assembly, deliberate on matters that are before various committee, write reports, and then from there we'll pick it from there.
Those who want to go will go, because it's a free world, but as per the law, the Senate doesn't have any mandate in summoning or questioning how the county assemblies operate. Their primary role is to oversight.
Machakos County Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi has called on the government to urgently review and strengthen the security measures across the country amid a disturbing rise in targeted killings. Speaking during a public event in Machakos, Mwangangi expressed deep sorrow over the recent killings of religious leaders, warning that such acts threaten to destabilize the country. He also condemned the increasing cases of harassment of opposition leaders through arrests, arguing that such actions are politically motivated and only serve to distract from the real issues affecting Kenyans.
Tumeona mambo ya Gen Z, vile watu wengine waliuawa, wengine wamepotea, wengine hawajawahi onekana. Saa hii tumeona kuna mauaji ya makasisi ambao kanisa tunajua ilisimama na serikali hii mpaka ikakuwa serikali. Tafadhali suluhisha haya maneno ya hizi vifo ambao watu wanauliwa, wengine wanakuwa wanapotea, njia ionekane. Tafadhali hiyo maneno Kenya kwanza sort out. Hatutaki maneno ya kupoteza makasisi wetu, hatutaki maneno ya Mkenya yote kupotea, hiyo hatutaki.
Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana has urged the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, to revoke a recent directive regarding the government's plan to establish a National Intelligence Service campus on land currently occupied by residents of Tana River. Speaking in the Kinakomba area, Masalani village, Mungatana alleged that the move is a violation of human rights and could lead to serious social conflicts, emphasizing the need for dialogue with all stakeholders. He also urged the national government to issue title deeds to the residents to avoid land disputes.
Tunataka waje huyo mtu ambaye anasema ule mradi ile area ni restricted aje atuambie ni hapa, hapa na hapa. Lakini ukisema hii ni restricted area, ina maana hii restricted area mpaka chana. Kwa hivyo sisi hapa hatuna kazi tunafanya. Nikionekana kwa msitu nipigwe risasi na niko kwangu.
Sisi hatukatai maendeleo, lakini tunakataa ardhi yetu kuchukuliwa bila public participation. Unasikia watu wanapewa ma title deed county nyingine, lakini ikifika hapa Tana River unakwambia kwamba it is very big. Sasa kwa sababu ni kubwa sana, inataka programu yake. Sisi tunasema area hii ina wenyewe, na watu wanajua kwamba wanaoishi hapa ni akina nani, ndivyo ambu sivyo? Kwa hivyo tunataka community land, manake community land haina process ndefu.
The Kenya Wildlife Service and its partners have embarked on an ambitious mission to capture and translocate 21 black rhinos to newer habitats. The first phase of the exercise kicked off with 2 black rhinos successfully moved from Olpejeta Conservancy to Segera Conservancy in Laikipia County. The operation marks a new chapter in Kenya's conservation efforts.
Kenya Wildlife Service veterinary and capture teams at Olpejeta Conservancy in Nanyuki, Laikipia County sedated and secured 2 critically endangered black rhinos, launching the first phase of a historic 18-day translocation effort. The rhinos were carefully transported to Segera Conservancy, a newly designated 90 square kilometer sanctuary that meets strict ecological and security standards. The mission is part of Kenya's National Recovery and Action Plan for Black Rhinos for the year 2022 to 2026, aimed at expanding habitat range and boosting the species' number. By relocating 21 genetically diverse rhinos from Ol Pejeta, Lewa and Nakuru, conservationists hope to ease pressure and establish a new breeding population for endangered rhino species. The exercise, costing 14 million shillings, is jointly funded by the Ministry of Wildlife and Segera Conservancy. Each rhino will be fitted with a tracking device for real-time monitoring and round-the-clock security. Alvin Kaunda reporting for KBC Channel 1.
The Senate Committee on Roads, Transport and Housing has called on Mombasa County Government and the Ministry of Lands to fast-track the signing of an MOU to prioritize the allocation of affordable houses to locals during Phase 2 of the project. Meanwhile, Member of Parliament Elisha Odhiambo is accusing Siaya County Governor James Orengo of failing to provide drugs and essential medical equipment at public health facilities in the county. Here are the details in the county news briefs.
The legislator was speaking at Gongo Primary School grounds in Central Gem location during a public baraza. He faulted the Siaya County leadership for the deteriorating state of health in Siaya County. He also lobbied to the chair of the Budget Committee in Parliament to ensure Siaya County gets its fair share of funding to improve service delivery.
I'm appealing to the leadership of Siaya. When you're being elected, you said your number one priority was to ensure that hospitals have drugs. If the hospitals don't have drugs, it means you have failed and failed the people of Siaya terribly. So I'm appealing to the governor. If you want to be remembered at all, you should be remembered because our hospitals have drugs for these ordinary people.
In Busia County, Western leaders have called on the government to fast-track and establish a coffee research institute to boost yields of the crop in the border county and the entire Western region. Speaking in Busia town during the distribution of coffee seedlings, Western leaders registered their need for a research institute, saying it would come in handy in helping improve the crop for more than 2,500 coffee farmers in the region.
Deputy Governor, utafute shamba karibu 100 ikuwe demonstration farm, na sisi tutamsaidia na pesa tuanze research hapo, na tuongee na watu wa Coffee Research Institute wafanye hiyo support. Alafu mambo ya robusta coffee katika Kenya headquarters sasa itakuwa wapi? Hapa Busia.
Meanwhile, Kenya is relying on her connectivity, improved infrastructure, and regional integration to position tourism business in the East African region. Speaking at the sidelines of the just concluded Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo in Uganda, Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife Rebecca Miano noted that the expanded air routes and road infrastructure development has given Kenya a major boost in both tourism and trade businesses.
Enhancing tourism connectivity in Africa requires a multifaceted approach and one that addresses infrastructure gaps, that promotes regional integration, that fosters sustainability and collaboration between public and private sectors.
Finally, stakeholders in the beauty industry have called for global collaborative business models to expand access to innovative beauty products and grow local distribution networks. Speaking during the launch of a German beauty nutrition supplements in Nairobi's Westlands area, Retrack CEO Wamboi Mbarire said such partnerships will ensure high-quality products reach more consumers while also strengthening the country's market capacity.
Aging is around the corner. Can you start? Can you slow down and think about yourself as a person? Because you need to take care.
Time for a break now. We recall with plenty more, including our discussion on digital transformation. Stay put.
Je, umewahi kuwa na deni ya KRA? Basi usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC wamekuandalia roadshow murwa kabisa. Jiunge nasi tukufahamishe kuhusu KRA Tax Amnesty Program na jinsi utakavyoweza kusamehewa adhabu na riba na KRA. Pia tutakuwa tunakusaidia kujaza fomu za kodi za mwaka 2024 na kukusaidia na huduma za KRA kwa mtaa wako. Ijumaa tarehe 30 mwezi Mei na Jumamosi tarehe 31 tutakuwa na mobile clinic mjini Kakamega, maeneo ya Muliro Gardens. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. You're still on Lunchtime News. We continue to inform you. And now chaos erupted in the Dagoretti area of Nairobi County after suspected drug dealers confronted the police and officials from the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA, during an operation to weed out narcotics in the area. Police were forced to use tear gas canisters after the suspects who were resisting arrest became rowdy. One suspect was, however, arrested and several stones of bang recovered.
This was the situation at Mutuini area of Dagoretti, Nairobi County, after the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA officials and police officers stormed the area targeting Chang'aa dens and drug hotspots.
We mounted a major multi-agency crackdown so that we come and thwart all efforts being done by these young men, the youths within this area. It has been an area which has been having complaints of drug use, criminal activities being abated within this region.
Several suspected brewing sites had been vacated after the suspects got wind of the looming raid. Tensions rose when youths began pelting stones at the officers. Police were forced to use tear gas canisters to disperse the rowdy youths who seemed intoxicated. During the operation, a suspect was arrested and a sack full of cannabis abandoned by the drug dealers was recovered.
We managed to destroy shanties, as you can see there. These are shanties believed to be a point of selling and issues of distribution of bank. And at the moment, we have managed to recover some bank. As you can see here, this is in the full tray. Rolls which are being prepared to be distributed or be sold by these young men here.
NACADA Chief Enforcement Officer Nicholas Kosgei said the operation was part of the ongoing efforts to dismantle illicit alcohol and drug networks that have taken root in the region.
As NACADA, we are working around the clock that we manage to suppress suppression of drugs, so that we have a drug-free nation.
NACADA promised to extend the operation countrywide while calling on citizens to shun the dangerous illegal trade.
Health experts and researchers are calling on the Ministry of Health and county health departments to officially include female genital schistosomiasis in reproductive health programs. This follows the release of a groundbreaking study revealing a worrying number of misdiagnosed cases in Kilifi County.
FGS is through pelvic examination.
The study conducted by LVCT Health, a non-governmental organization, found that 320 out of 2,000 women tested in hospitals and clinics across Kilifi County were suffering from female genital schistosomiasis, FGS, but were routinely treated for sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, due to the disease's misleading symptoms.
Kwa muda mrefu sana, zile dalili za FGS sana sana zilikuwa zinaonekana kama ni magonjwa ya zinaa. So wanawake wengi walikuwa napewa dawa kama antibiotics, lakini walikuwa hawaponi.
Huu ugonjwa wa kichocho cha wanawake ama female genital schistosomiasis ushirikishwe ama ukwe embedded, mipango yote iwekwe katika huduma zingine za afya za wanawake wanapokuja kwa matibabu ama huduma za afya kuhusiana na uzazi, waweze kupata hii huduma.
FGS is caused by aquatic parasites released by freshwater snails and can have severe health and social consequences if left untreated. Symptoms include vaginal itching, pain and bleeding, which often lead to stigma, misdiagnosis and marital conflict.
Na katika kichocho tunapata kuambukizika kupitia na maji machafu na mnyama mwingine ambaye anaitwa konokono. Sasa kwa akili zangu za kibinadamu nikawa naona pengine labda ni yule bwanangu aliweza kuniambukiza magonjwa, na yeye mwenyewe kwa fikra zake alikuwa yona mimi labda niliweza kutoka nje nikamwambukiza magonjwa. Kwa hivyo katika ndoa yangu nimeishi kwa ilikuwa haina amani kwa sababu ya haya magonjwa.
Health experts warn that continued misdiagnosis and inappropriate use of antibiotics for FGS could weaken patients' immune systems. Responding to the findings, Kilifi County Director of Health Hassan Lele pledged to initiate a sensitization campaign across the county and train medical personnel to recognize and treat the disease effectively.
Because ugonjwa huu mara nyingi unapata misdiagnosis, unachukuliwa kama ugonjwa wa ngono ambao si hivyo. Kwanza tufanye pia advocacy ili wananchi wetu wanapokuja kupata huduma haswa kike waweze kuwa na uwezo wa kufanya screening and kupata diagnosis.
Maria Ambo reporting for the Lunchtime News.
Time for your business news now, and Standard Chartered Bank has committed to invest $1.5 billion over the next 5 years to grow its affluent business. The bank says it is doubling efforts to support affluent clients, including entrepreneurs, sophisticated investors, and the emerging affluents to grow, protect, and pass on their wealth to the next generation.
The 2024 Africa Wealth Report ranks Kenya 4th after South Africa, Egypt and Nigeria, with the highest number of dollar millionaires. This number is expected to grow by 65% in the next 10 years. To tap this growing market, Standard Chartered Bank has unveiled its latest wealth campaign aimed at the affluent segment in Kenya. Standard Chartered's head of wealth and retail banking, Edith Chumba, says the bank will execute a data-driven and personalized approach to client engagement.
Clients now have need to diversify their banking experience. And this for us is a unique capability. We are able to help clients in Kenya to get access to those markets. What excites me is the young professionals that join the market from school, whether it's doctors, engineers, or even just young entrepreneurs who work hard and make their own money. We must be ready to help them because they're looking to make that money, but at some point that money has to give them good returns. And that's where we come in as an international wealth manager for affluent clients.
The lender plans to use 50% of its total investment on recruiting and nurturing relationship managers and wealth specialists to provide enhanced client service, including wealth advisory and legacy planning, and a further 25% to build brand awareness and association with wealth.
Relationship manager is the primary channel to our affluent clients. And the relationship manager's responsibility is to unpack the need of the client. So the conversation, the engagement is need-based. And as a bank, we have to invest heavily in our relationship managers. And maybe just to share some stats, in Kenya, All our relationship managers are professionally certified as wealth managers.
Betty Kiptum, Lunchtime News.
Youth in rural areas are being challenged to take advantage of the available broadband infrastructure, training and mentorship for top online work and venture in entrepreneurship. Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo is challenging the youth, who comprise 70% of Kenya's population, to leverage ICT for sustainable solutions to local problems.
The Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary was at Kabimoi Vocational Training Center in Eldama Ravine for graduation of 180 youth who have undergone a 4-week training by Huawei Digitrack and the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy. The youth have been linked with business development mentors to help them navigate and take advantage of the online space to market their ideas and source entrepreneur insights to further their online startups.
Ya muhimu ni kitu gani wewe unapelekea watoto nyumbani? Ni kitu gani huyu msichana mrembo atafanya nini dijitali aweze kujimudu kimaisha? Hiyo ndio sababu sisi tuko hapa siku ya leo. Na tungeomba, if it is possible, we get another track. And if not a track, then we make all the digital hubs that we want to make. 1,450 moja katika kila ward.
The training that has impacted over 6,000 youth aims to spur young people into the increasingly competitive digital space that is also a platform for showcasing innovation and developing talents.
Aiming to make sure at least 20 million people in the country are exposed to digital skills. And we have many programs. One of them is DigiTrack with our partnership Huawei and many other associations that are working with Huawei.
The DigiTrack is a mobile ICT laboratory equipped with solar-powered computers that targets to train in remote areas. Sylvia Gatti reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Ethiopia's central bank has directed banks to cap foreign exchange transaction fees at 4% in efforts to modernize the country's foreign market. Banks are also barred from levying any extra charges on foreign exchange transactions and require lenders to, from next month, start publishing their forex-related fees on the National Bank of Ethiopia's website. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the borders.
National Bank of Ethiopia increased the limit on the amount importers can pay in advance per transaction from $5,000 to $50,000 in a bid to ease previous limitations on direct foreign currency payments to international suppliers. The National Bank of Ethiopia has increased the foreign currency limit for travelers, permitting individuals to access up to $10,000 and business travelers up to $15,000, either in cash or by debit card. Ethiopia's bank regulator is optimistic that the new regulations will enable an active, competitive and steadily growing foreign exchange market that meets the needs of Ethiopians and private sector. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has agreed to extend a deadline to negotiate tariffs with the European Union by more than a month. Last month, President Donald Trump announced a 20% tariff on most EU goods, but later cut this to 10% to allow time for negotiations. On Friday, President Donald Trump expressed frustration with the pace of talks and threatened to raise the tariff to 50% as soon as 1st of June. Last year, the EU exported more than $600 billion in goods to U.S. while importing products valued at $370 billion. Finally, Syria is rolling out various measures to attract foreign investment following the U.S. and European Union's announcement that economic sanctions will be lifted on the country. Syrian finance minister made the remarks on the sidelines of the Islamic Development Bank's annual meeting held in Algeria to discuss economic collaboration. The Syrian finance minister says he hopes that the world will soon recognize the potential that the post-sanction Syrian economy has to offer. The Syrian finance minister says there are opportunities in sectors such as energy, agriculture, infrastructure, housing, tourism, healthcare, and education.
And CEO of OneDev, Mona Lisa Walken. Lisa, welcome so much to the program.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just broach this discussion by first looking at how the different advancements in technology look like. We look at the likes of AI, blockchain, biodata, you name it. So from your perspective, as you tell our viewers, how is this reshaping industries and economies?
Okay, so the revolution already started, and we are going to feel it even more intensely over a little period of time. For Africa, not so much is happening, which is why we were motivated to begin this drive in order to not just give visibility, but to bring in more builders so that we are not always on the receiving end. We can afford to be on the builder's perspective. As for how it will shape industries, it's going to be very enormous. Some businesses, if they do not make the necessary adaptations, may be out of business. So it's more like we are at that right place where we have to make this formation as to how we are integrating these new technologies, be it AI, be it blockchain, and all the emerging technologies that are coming in our faces, robotics and the rest of them. We need to critically consider how this is relevant to our own industry and to our own business.
You're saying that if they're not adapting to it, they might maybe be shipped out of business, but then just elucidate a bit further how significant this is, especially for startups, to embrace this emerging technologies.
So for startups, it's even because startup world is extremely fast-paced, and whoever wants to survive there must be able to integrate tools like AI. I mean, AI has been simplified up onto the very minimal level. So every startup must look at integrations in terms of CRMs that they are utilizing, in terms of how their speed of execution right now has now been amplified by AI as far as they are able to adapt to it properly.
You recently held a forum dubbed Code Africa event, and you brought in various stakeholders, industry players. Just talk to me in a nutshell how this was significant and why it was so necessary to bring all these people together and what it achieved.
Okay, so first of all, Code Africa is Africa's leading emerging tech conference, and we are running, just concluded our second edition. And what prompted us to start this drive, start this revolution, is because we felt, not only did we feel, but we already saw it, that we are nearly behind schedule in terms of catching up.
So who's this, Africa or what?
Africa, okay. Africa precisely. Right. So now we've created Code Africa as a forum where Africans, we are taking this from a builder's perspective, where Africans can come build together. And now when I talk about builders, I mean startups, founders, innovators across Africa, policymakers, the government, and everyone who hold a stake in this industry to come together to be able to collaborate and shape emerging tech, because we believe that the next tech revolution will definitely be coming from Africa. So what we did at Code Africa was to kick off with a hackathon, since we are heavy on the product development side. And in that hackathon, we saw over 150 participants from across African countries. And we saw about 60 participating right here in Kenya physically. And with that, we're able to get about 45 products, and we are going to be scaling those products to join accelerators so that in the next couple of years, we can boost up African products in emerging tech. And this would include blockchain products, AI products, robotic products, and VR and the rest of them in that vertical. Now, during our last event, we saw participation from all people from across the world who came in as speakers, as sponsors, key stakeholders, and the rest of them. We even had the participation of the government from the standpoint of Mr. Emmanuel Camille, who is the Secretary to the ICT on Audit and Control. We have created quite a revolution. We also had the first Africa Emerging Tech Awards, which rewarded builders who have been, piloting this industry over the past 5 years. The conference itself, we saw over 3,000 registered, and then we also had some good participation, and this is just the beginning.
Okay. Two things, Mona Lisa. You've said that part of what informed this forum or conference is the fact that also Africa, we're sort of like lagging a bit behind. But on the flip side, there's some bit of optimism expressed from what you said, is that we are the next frontier. So from where you sit, or let me pick your 2 cents on this one. Are there any form or kinds of innovations that we can say as Africans we are boasting of? Is there anyone as you speak?
Yes, we are. Point of view, we had Startup Demo Day during Code Africa, and we intend to even run it up better next year. And what we did there was to bring post-revenue founders and startups who are already doing some good job, have revenue traction. We brought them into a room and brought them alongside other VC firms, angel investors that are looking for post-revenue of to invest. So once we get this right in terms of investment, we definitely should be ahead.
Okay, finally, as we bring this discussion to a close, Mona Lisa, how does the future look like? What are the long-term, perhaps, impacts of this, or that this would have in the continent at large? Very quickly.
So it's going to be very monumental in terms of impact, because given the next couple of years, 5 years, we are looking to attract millions of dollars in terms of investment into the African continent, and we intend to keep growing the builders base, the products builders and products that are people that are of African descent who are launching products in emerging tech. I think this will be a big win for us, because we do not intend to play as consumers in emerging tech.
Okay, thank you so much, Mona Lisa. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights into this. Indeed, the future is tech, and the faster we embrace this, the better for us.
The better, thank you.
That has been Mona Lisa Agbata, our guest this afternoon, just demystifying for us what this portends for us as Kenyans and as Africans as a bloc, just really looking at the digital transformation and how best this can be for us if we embrace it. Time for your sporting action now, and to that story that we had run by you earlier. A 33-man traveling squad announced is preparing for 2027 Rugby World Cup qualifiers in Uganda. Captain George Nyambua, Samuel Omwamu named in squad. Others include Collins Indeche, John Okoth, Samuel Asati, and Bethwell Anami, Simba's Bethwell Anami.
The squad, which was announced by the management, includes, among others, Captain George Nyambua, as well as exciting new talents in Samuel Oviamu and Collins Indeche. John Okoth, Samuel Asante, and Bethwell Anami returned to the squad, having featured in the 2023 Rugby World Cup qualifiers in France. The Simbas played a training match against UAE Rugby on Saturday at the RFA grounds to conclude the local program. On the upcoming Rugby Africa Cup in Uganda, which doubles up as the 2027 Rugby World Cup qualifier, Simba's head coach Jerome Pawota said the team will be playing some experienced sides from Western Province of South Africa, such as SWD Eagles, the Blue Bulls, and Sanlam Boland Cavaliers. The 33 will depart for South Africa later in the week, where they'll be joined by South African-based duo of David Bunduki and Thomas Okeo during the last leg in Limpopo, courtesy of the Blue Bulls, as well as Hilary Mwanjilo, who is working on his return to play protocol following a long injury layoff after last year's international duty. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Beatrice Chebet clocks new African and Diamond League record. Chebet reduced her personal best time by almost 13 seconds. She clocked 8 minutes, 11.56 seconds. Emmanuel Wanyonyi finished third in the 800 meters. Wanyonyi clocked 1 hour, 43 minutes, 47 seconds.
Beatrice Chebet reduced her personal best time by almost 13 seconds as she won the 3,000 meters at the Rabat Diamond League meeting on Sunday night. She finished 15 seconds ahead of second-placed Nadia Batocletti of Italy, while her compatriot Janet Chepngetich finished a distant 10th.
Big national record over 3,000 meters. It's the second fastest time of all time. Beatrice Chebet. She's brilliant at the longer distances, brilliant on the roads, brilliant 10,000, 5,000.
Olympic champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi clocked his season best time of 1 minute, 43.37 seconds. to finish third in the 800 meters behind Masalela Shepiso of Botswana and Max Bargin of Great Britain, who were first and second respectively. Other Kenyans, Wycliffe Kinyamal and Aaron Kemei, had to settle for 6th and 12th positions respectively.
There's another step up from last week. Others following with fast times behind.
2022 Commonwealth Games champion Ferdinand Omanyala finished second in the 100 meters, clocking 10.05 seconds behind winner Akani Sibine of South Africa.
Second and between them, Fred Curley a close third, 9.95, and with a very slight following wind. That is great running.
Edmund Serem and Abraham Kibiwot were third and 12th in the 3,000 meters steeplechase.
Ultimate time. What a brilliant run from El Batali. What an astonishing run from Rupert. And look at that, just outside 8 minutes. But it is a new world lead, and Rupert has smashed the European record. There's no doubt about that. 8.007.
McLaren's Lando Norris won the Monaco Grand Prix for the first time with a copybook drive, controlling the race from start to finish. Norris navigated the potential pitfalls of a new rule requiring drivers to use 3 sets of tyres during the race to lead throughout, and beat Ferrari's Charles Leclerc for the Breton's second victory of the season. McLaren's Oscar Piastri took third, while clear up Red Bull's Max Verstappen with Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton a distance 5th. Norris' victory cut Piastri's lead at the head of the championship to 3 points, with Verstappen a further 22 behind in third.
But the positions have held as we climb the hill. Charles Leclerc all over the back of the McLaren. He's giving it everything, but he hasn't got the room. And Norris keeps the lead into Casino Square. Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen, and Hadjar, your top 5. In comes Verstappen. He will drop down to 4th in the order. Here's the stop. Norris leads. Leclerc second. Piastri in third.
Juventus secured a spot in next season's UEFA Champions League after defeating Venezia 3-2 at Pierluigi Penzo Stadium on Saturday night. In La Liga champions, Barcelona beat 4th-placed Athletic Club Bilbao 3-0 at the San Mamés Barria to end the season with 88 points.
Fali Kande away. And that's a brilliant strike, Alberto Costa! As Colomwani takes charge, and Colomwani has beaten Radu. The awarded here. Locatelli. It squeezes past Radu.
There's a through ball now, finds Robert Lewandowski, and it's a cheeky chip over Unai Simon. Lona, Rafinha will play it in very tight towards the front post, and it's found its way in. Up he steps against Unai Simon, and he buries.
That's all the time we had for you this Monday afternoon. We appreciate you for your valid company. We do not take that for granted. This has been KBC Lunchtime News. I'm Doreen Arange. Lucy Maura has been our sign language interpreter. Good afternoon.
Sasa huu ni upuzi gani?
I've only been married for a few years and already akona mtoto nje.
Sijui unataka niseme nini.
It is called owning up to your mistake. And honestly, mbona tukuamka tuende?
In fact, mpigie huyo mama Kim. Mwambie utaki kazi. Nitatafuta msichana mwingine. Nafikiri hizo nyumba zingine hazina shida zao.
Take some time. Kwa sababu Pende usipende, we need to talk.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
My name is Crystal Dilworth. I'm a neuroscientist with a PhD from Caltech in Pasadena, California. Today, we're focusing on plastic and reconstructive surgery. Seeing the body inside out and being able to take it apart and put it back together again in a slightly different form is magic. The fact that you can go in and give structure to a nose and trust the body to take that new structure into itself and become the new normal is amazing. Where we're going with technology, the face is so important. It's our identity. We're starting to ask the question, who are we? What belongs to us?
Powering the future. Confronting the world's challenges with cutting-edge solutions, medical breakthroughs, and high-tech discoveries. These are the stories of our planet. This is VOA Tech.
Beverly Hills, California, one of the wealthiest cities in the world, a place where image knows no limit. You'll find some of the most expensive cars, stores, and restaurants here. The median listing price for a home is more than $4,500,000 US. The city is only 6 square miles, but there are more than 72 plastic surgeons doing business here. The Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Group is one of them. Their luxurious offices are located in the heart of Beverly Hills.
Rhinoplasty is right in the nose is right in the middle of your face, so it's kind of hard to mess that up. So the idea is finesse, and it's very challenging.
Dr. John Lakey is co-founder of the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Group. He specializes in rhinoplasties, or nose jobs. As I said, we're here in Beverly Hills. There's over 70 plastic surgeons just in this zip code.
The interesting part is there's probably more. In fact, in this building alone, there's probably 20 or 30 plastic surgeons.